Today we are taking a fascinating and I think really complex journey into the mission of an institute that's trying to do something truly ambitious.
It really is. We're talking about the Sindhu Veda Research Institute, or SVRI.
And we've pulled together their foundational documents, academic outlines, even some testimonials about their leadership to try and decode the blueprint for this massive endeavor.
Right, and our mission for you, the listener, is to move past the brochure and really get the process. How does an institute like this actually synthesize ancient Indian traditions? We're talking Vedic wisdom, Indus heritage, with the rigorous demands of modern technology and management science.
It's a huge question. Their stated goal is profound, to forge ethical and humanitarian bricks using this blend.
But the how, that's where the deep dive begins.
It is a phenomenal challenge, and you can almost feel that tension right in the name itself. Before we even get into the 4 pillars of their operation, we have to talk about the name Sindhu Veda.
Oh, absolutely. It's an instant declaration of intent. It really captures the dynamic tension at the core of their mission.
Okay, so let's unpack this. Sindhu, where does that come from?
Sindhu refers directly to the Indus River. But it's not just a river, not just a geographical feature. In their context, it's credited with shaping and giving an identity to the entire Indian culture. It represents the historical, physical source of it all.
So it's the container for all that diversity.
Yeah.
The source material notes this culture is rich across so many fields: philosophy, mythology, theology.
Linguistics, even medicinal practices. It's the broad, ever-changing heritage.
The foundation.
Exactly. Sindhu is the foundation of the culture, the geographical roots. But culture is fluid, right? It changes. And that's where the second part comes in to balance it. Veda.
Veda signifies wisdom, the divine texts.
Yes. So if Sindhu is this broad, changing river of culture, Veda is the anchor. It's the immutable, time-tested wisdom.
So when you put them together,
When you synthesize them, the Institute is basically declaring that its entire operation is built on blending this rich, dynamic cultural heritage with the formalized eternal wisdom from the texts. It's a philosophical tightrope walk.
that makes perfect sense. It's tradition versus evolution right there in the name. So let's see how they actually put that into practice. The Institute has 4 main pillars. Where should we start?
Let's start with the most tangible one, the one that deals with real-world health, Chikitsa.
Chikitsa, that's their medicinal practices focus.
And this is where that synthesis becomes critical right away. The sources are clear. SVRI is committed to promoting the Indian traditional system of healing, specifically Ayurveda, through ethical practice.
But they bring in modernity with technology. I saw they provide authentic online consultations.
They do, specifically targeting lifestyle disorders, and everything is prescribed according to the classical texts.
That's a perfect point to dive into. I mean, Ayurveda is so personal, isn't it? It relies on pulse reading, direct examination. How do you maintain that integrity with an online consultation?
That is the core challenge of Chikitsa. How do you scale something that was designed to be intensely personal?
So it sounds like they're trying to digitize a system that was built on physical presence, but maybe only for certain things, like lifestyle disorders, where it's more about patterns and symptoms.
Precisely. They're using 21st century infrastructure to deliver ancient knowledge. But the key is that the ethical practice has to remain authentic. And it's all rooted in this idea of holistic health balance in the body, mind, and soul.
Applying ancient wellness principles to very modern problems like stress.
Exactly.
That focus on holistic well-being is a really smooth transition to the second pillar, which is all about education.
Gurukul.
Right, Gurukul. And you'd think an institute focused on Vedic education would be purely traditional, but there's a modern challenge here, too.
They position it as a one-stop source for all Vedic wisdom. History, philosophy, mythology, Ayurveda, all of it.
And yet their methodology is deeply rooted in the past. They're focused on preserving the ancient system of Guru Shishya Parampara.
The teacher-student tradition. And there's the paradox. That tradition implies a deep, often lifelong, intensely personal relationship. So if Gurukul is meant to be a one-stop source, which implies scale and standardization, how do you keep that authentic intimacy between the guru and the shishya?
It sounds like they're aiming for the spirit of the traditional model, using classical texts, emphasizing research, while using a modern platform to reach more people. It's like the difference between a personal apprenticeship and, I don't know, an open university built on those same values.
That's the tightrope, exactly. They know the teaching has to be authentic, but they also include a research orientation. They recognize that knowledge has to be subject to critical inquiry to survive.
Okay, so we've covered tradition, healing, learning. Now the Institute kind of shifts gears pretty dramatically from preservation to, well, aggressive innovation. Let's talk about Pillar 3, Samshodhana.
Samshodhana. This is their dedicated pillar for innovation with modern technologies. The name itself translates to research, and its goal is explicit: interdisciplinary research.
So, if Veda is the eternal wisdom, Samshodhana is about updating how we apply it.
You've nailed it. They state it perfectly. Research is necessary for the renewal of knowledge with changing time and space. Wisdom might be constant, but how you use it has to evolve.
They aren't just archiving texts.
No, they're actively trying to define what the next generation of knowledge looks like within this framework. And their contribution back is all about that research training, collaborations, publications. They're creating knowledge, not just consuming it.
That proactive approach leads us right into the final pillar, Nita Sambhasha. This one is, well, it's arguably the most corporate of the four.
It really is. It's about real-world application, administration, and management.
Nita Sambhasha is described as a culture-driven philosophy. Its whole purpose is enforcing administrative skills and management principles for better productivity.
Yes, across all their fields: academics, research, healthcare.
So if you think of the Institute as this complex organization, Nita Sambhasha is kind of the CEO pillar. It's the management system that makes sure the philosophy actually translates into efficient, measurable outputs.
Which raises a huge question for you, the listener. What does a culture-driven management protocol derived from these traditions actually look like in practice? How is it different from a standard corporate framework?
They say they're continuously engaged in redefining management protocols.
Right. And based on the sources, it's about providing professional help in strategy and skill development that's rooted in those ethical and humanitarian bricks we talked about at the start. It's applying traditional virtues like balance to modern challenges of productivity and resource allocation.
It's the glue that holds the whole thing together.
Without it, the whole bridge could collapse.
To lead an institute with 4 pillars that are so diverse and sometimes even seem contradictory, I mean, you need a very rare kind of leader. Our sources have some powerful testimonials about Dr. Sunil Parab, the architect here.
The breadth of his expertise is staggering. He's listed as an expert in Ayurveda, Indian philosophy, comparative mythology, ancient archaeology, and business management.
That fusion is essential, isn't it? You can't reconcile the needs of a tech lab with the philosophy of a gurukul unless you understand both worlds.
You can't. And when you see ancient archaeology and business management in the same bio, you might be a little skeptical.
I was. So what do the sources say about how he actually fuses those skills?
The testimonials explain it through his execution. He's described as an excellent teacher, able to break down really complex concepts. That's his philosophical depth. But then he's also known for being a confident, articulate speaker with out-of-the-box thinking.
That's the managerial strategic mind. He can speak both languages.
He's the human embodiment of the synthesis. And we see evidence of his skills as a practitioner, too.
He's an expert in panchakarma procedures, right?
Exactly. A highly specialized area of Ayurvedic practice. So he's hands-on with the Chikitsa pillar.
But his global reputation seems to really shine in mythological studies. And what's fascinating is his organizational drive, even from early on.
Yes. While he was still a student, he organized a Joseph Campbell Foundation Mythological Roundtable group. That's not just intellectual curiosity. That shows an innate ability to organize, to build community, to create structure for high-level discourse.
The seeds of the Nita Sambhasha management philosophy.
They were there from the very beginning, and his network is truly global collaborators from Brazil, Germany, the United States. He's praised as both an organizer and an intellect. When SVRI talks about building bridges, Dr. Parab's personal network is the living proof.
So what does it all mean when you bring it together? These 4 pillars under this unique leadership. It boils down to some very focused, actionable commitments.
Fundamentally, yes. They are committed to promoting networking between key players across academics, research, healthcare, and management. That's critical because no single pillar can stand alone. The Gurukul needs the Samshodhana research.
And Chikitsa needs the Nita Sambhasha management. And their commitments are crystal clear: authentic teaching for Vedic knowledge,
Ethical practice for the Indian system of medicine.
and promoting research and management through publications and training.
The whole structure is designed as a self-sustaining cycle. Tradition feeds research, research refines application, and application informs management.
So in the end, they're not just preserving ancient texts in a library somewhere. They're building a functional, ethical bridge to ensure that ancient wisdom stays authentic while meeting modern standards. They're aiming for relevance, but without sacrificing the wisdom of the past.
And this raises a really important question for you to consider. When you look at traditional systems like Ayurveda or Gurukul, which value time-tested methods, how does the demand for renewal of knowledge, driven by that Samshadhana pillar, change things? Does the necessary adaptation eventually transform the original wisdom into something else entirely?
And building on that, think about that Nidhi Sambhasha philosophy, that idea of a culture-driven management. If SVRI succeeds in redefining management for fields like academics and healthcare, how might that system apply beyond them, maybe even to your own professional environment? Is there a piece of ancient wisdom that, if operationalized, could redefine modern corporate strategy? Something to think about long after this deep dive ends.